The most insane medieval jobs. You won't believe these. Think your job is bad? Imagine a world where your daily task involves handling human waste, letting blood-sucking leeches attach to your skin, or swinging an executioner's axe in front of a screaming crowd. Welcome to the Middle Ages, where jobs weren't just hard, they were horrifying. From rat-infested streets to royal palaces, people had to take on some of the most insane, dangerous, and downright disgusting jobs just to survive. Let's take a look at the worst of the worst. Wayne, the groom of the stool. Being close to the king was an honor, but not when your job was to wipe his royal behind. The groom of the stool was responsible for assisting the king with his most private moments. This meant preparing the royal toilet, cleaning up afterward, and even keeping records of the king's bowel movements. But despite how disgusting it sounds, this was a highly respected position. The groom had direct access to the king and often became one of his most trusted advisors. Imagine putting professional butt wiper on your resume today. 2. The rat catcher. The Middle Ages were a paradise for rats and a nightmare for humans. With no proper sanitation, towns were infested with disease-carrying rodents. Enter the rat catcher, a person hired to hunt and kill as many rats as possible. Armed with cages, traps, and even trained ferrets, they risked their lives daily to prevent the spread of disease. Ironically, many rat catchers got bitten, infected, and sometimes even spread the very plagues they were hired to prevent. 3. The leech collector. The bloodletting business, medieval doctors believed leeches could cure everything, from headaches to infections. But someone had to collect these bloodsuckers, and that was a job for the leech collector. Collectors waded into murky swamps, letting leeches latch onto their skin before pulling them off and selling them to doctors. Imagine coming home from work every day, covered in bite marks and blood loss, all for a few coins. The professional mourner. Imagine being paid just to cry at a funeral. In medieval times, professional mourners were hired to weep, wail, and dramatically grieve at funerals to make the deceased seem more important. More mourners meant the person was deeply loved, even if most of them were complete strangers. Some mourners were so over the top that they threw themselves on the ground, ripped their clothes, or even fought over who was crying the loudest. The executioner, a career in death. One of the most feared jobs in medieval society was that of the executioner. Their job? Publicly behead, hang, or burn criminals as a gruesome form of justice. But executioners weren't just killers, they were skilled professionals. A single bad swing of the axe could lead to a painful, messy execution and an angry crowd. 6. The gong farmer. The worst job of all. Meet the medieval version of a plumber, except instead of fixing pipes, they collected and removed human waste. Gong farmers would wade through cesspits and ditches, shoveling out waste and transporting it outside the city. The worst part, they had to work at night because the stench was so unbearable during the day. Which of these medieval jobs do you think was the worst? Or do you know an even crazier one? Let me know in the comments.